Hey, everybody. Super excited to be talking to influencers. Yes, these people do Instagram and social media for a living and they get paid for it. I know all of us realtors are out there, trying to put together stories and in-feed posts and figuring out like, how do we do this? How are we successful? Why don't we have 1,000 likes on every single post? Well, I thought it was really important and definitely I felt that you could really learn from professionals, people that are really good at Instagram, that do this for a living. I have Denny, Marion, and Jessica. These influencers have a little bit they all have different personalities and different attributes, which I think are going to be important to hear how they create content. And they all have worked with me. We've done videos together to help promote my properties. There's a lot of different advantages to having influencers, but I think for us, most of us are realtors, we probably have 300 followers, maybe a couple thousand. But when you align yourself with somebody that has 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 200,000 followers, your reach is so much more powerful. So I've done that, and it's helped me grow my followers. It's helped me get leads that led to buyers. It's helped me get more exposure for my listings. So, we're going to talk about how me as an agent, how I use social media and how I collaborate with these influencers. And we're going to hear, firsthand what they do on an everyday basis, how they come up with their content. So I'm super excited to get this started. Why don't we start? We'll go down. Denny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. It's great to virtually meet you all. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Ryan, thank you for asking me to be a part of this. It was literally took me 2 seconds to agree to this. I just have a lot of gratitude towards social media. It's helped me achieve a lot of my dreams. So long story short, I'm a fashion stylist, a creative director. I've started my own styling business, and that's led to other opportunities on air. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, and now Clubhouse is getting big as well. We can chat about just always expanding my reach, and looking forward to connecting with all of you.
Great. Marion?
Hi. So I am a native New Yorker, just like Jessica, and I am a travel and lifestyle blogger. So my story is a little interesting in the sense that I was an early adopter on Instagram. So I've actually had my account since 2011. And at the time, it clearly wasn't what it was now. So I kind of stuck through it, posting content. And then around 2014, that was when a light bulb clicked in my head, thinking, okay, this is definitely an industry that's going to blow up. And the word influencer didn't really even exist at the time. So yeah, I kind of just went on that bandwagon, and I quit my job about 3.5, going to 4 years now. And I've been doing it now full time.
Great. Awesome. And Jessica?
Awesome. Well, Ryan, I just want to say thank you so much for having us here. I'm happy to talk to this whole community here. So I first started as a model, as an actress in New York, and I realized with time, a lot of companies started reaching out, wanting to partner with me on Instagram. Like, what is this Instagram thing? Like, why are companies reaching out? But then I realized I could start charging, and I developed like a third business of mine, and really working with brands within like the lifestyle, skincare, beauty industry and space. And then I made it my third business, and I just work with many, many brands and continue to do so.
Awesome. Awesome. I think the key common denominator here is that, we all have jobs or careers or certain interests. And I think with Instagram, it's like your own reality show, and it really gives you an outlet to be creative and talk about travel, talk about beauty, talk about fashion, and show videos. So it's very visual. So having pictures and really just getting people to know you and creating a business off it. So, Instagram, it's a secondary and third business that you can make off of it, because the reach is just out there. So I think I'm going to start with some of the videos that I did we'll start with Dennis. So Dennis and I did a video He hasn't seen this one yet. We did it at a
No
new
one has.
development. We did it at a new development. Let's see, where is this? Do I have it? Oops. We did it at a new development. Xtel, they're the biggest developers in New York City. So they even get the opportunity to like be able to shoot and do this video with Denny was a big opportunity. And you know, we're gonna work together to getting as many eyeballs on this as possible. So Denny, hopefully you like this.
I'm ready.
Hey, Dan.
Ryan, how's it
All
going?
right.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Looking good as always.
You know what? I try to bring it, but you are killing it. 3 piece.
Thank you. That's because I'm vested in you. Let's go check out this. What a line. What a line. So you walk into this great room. You got the double exposure. Check out this beautiful open kitchen.
This is stunning. I love an open kitchen where I have my guests and there isn't a wall or anything keeping us apart.
I know you wanted a 3-bedroom, but this is a 3-bedroom with a bonus, with a home office. It's got good energy in here. It's bright. You have an ensuite.
I mean, look, if I need some extra inspiration.
Ryan, I don't think it's showing.
It's not showing?
No, it's just the
I
audio.
hear it.
I don't know what will. So let's check out this primary bedroom. Love this bathroom.
There you go. Now
Five
it's showing.
fixtures. You got it? You have this spacious
Yeah.
bedroom facing south, straight on view of the Freedom Tower. All right, I have a surprise for you. Check this out. This room is a closet.
Ryan, you always get it right. You hit the nail on the head, everything I'm looking for.
Hudson Square is the most up-and-coming neighborhood in all of New York City. And 70 Charlton is a beautiful building, great amenities. I mean, it has everything here that you need.
Listen, I love it.
Now we got to make a deal.
Okay, let's talk.
All right.
Can I move in?
Right.
Dennis,
So-
you sold me. Ryan, you sold
Yeah,
me.
so I mean, you know, that's really it's the power of market of video, really. And I think it, you know, Denny, it was very natural. There wasn't, you know, I was just walking you through the apartment like I would any
Yeah, Ryan,
any
I'm
buyer.
seeing some requests there, and not to go through the whole thing, or maybe just show the first minute that we missed, if that's possible.
But as always,
You know what? I try to bring it, but you are killing it. 3 piece.
thank you. That's because I'm vested in you. Let's go check out this apartment.
Aw.
You walk into this great room. You got the double exposure. Check out this beautiful open kitchen.
This is stunning. I love an open kitchen where I have my guests and there isn't a wall or anything keeping us apart.
I know you wanted a 3-bedroom, but this is a 3-bedroom with. So I don't want to. We'll put this on Instagram and we'll really show it to everybody. But you know, I think being able to produce a high quality video showcasing an apartment, and you know, Denny, how many followers do you have?
67,000 on Instagram.
So, I mean, between my 12,000, I'm just a micro influencer compared to you, you know, we're going to probably reach 100,000 people through this. And that's powerful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And then also, I mean, I'm such an advocate for properly hashtagging and not overdoing it. That has been a big part of how I grew initially in the fashion world. And so then it's about getting it reshared, getting it in front of another smaller groups. And before you know it, you've had, you know, a couple 100,000 eyes, if not more, on your product.
Great. Awesome. So, I've done videos with all of you guys. We'll go back to them, but I think what's really important, I think the first thing that everybody sees is that grid. That's what people look at before they follow you. So Jessica, you know, how do you go about planning your grid, and, you know, what's your thought process? How far in advance are you doing your content calendar?
So, you know, I use Planoly to kind of like organize my pictures in a nice way. So it kind of like flows. I don't, you know, because every day is so different for me, and, you know, I kind of live in the moment. So if I go for a trip to Aspen or to Miami, I know I want to capture a great shot and like make it authentic to me. Because if I am in Aspen, for example, I want to showcase that within the day or two. So I post it within those 2 days, right? So I don't really plan too much ahead of time. I have like a backlog of images that I will like throw in there if like I don't have any image, but I kind of like to live in the moment of what I'm doing at the given moment. I think that's authentic to me. I don't really like to plan way too in advance because my audience wants to see what I'm doing in that week. Not what I did 5 months ago and then I post. So I try to be authentic in that way, that I stay true in posting what I have done the past week or two.
How do you stay on brand?
How do I stay on brand? I know my brand. I know I have like a very aspirational, high-end vibe with everything that I post. So, it all comes down to knowing what I wear throughout the day, because what if I'm somewhere and that's very perfect on brand for me, then I capture it in that moment. So I always try to dress on brand so I could create content that way when you least expect it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love the look and feel of your page. I feel like it really flows.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
And so, Marian, you're if you look at the calendars, and this is like, I'm so big on the actual calendars, the grid. If you just look at all the squares, I feel like it has to have like a certain vibe, like to be on brand. How do you go about planning your content, and like what? Let's say how does it make it onto, like, what kind of content makes it onto your grid?
So I am huge on color and flow. And the way I look at the grid is not just like the 9, but like even diagonally. So right now I kind of have a warm slash plain neutral vibe going on. And every 3 photos or so, I will definitely have hints of red and orange, just because that's the color that it's currently flowing in. But I'm a native New Yorker. My blog is called Marian NYC. So a lot of my photos are focused on the New York City lifestyle, as you can see from like 4 or 5 of the photos that are shown here. And then I recently have been incorporating just some of my writing and like inspirational wellness mindset, just because that's something that I'm really trying to advocate on my page right now. And I know personally, like quotes that I have written myself are shareable content, so they actually do really well. And then a little bit of just like random, again, city lifestyle, what cafe to go to, or like where you can actually go away right now if you are traveling, obviously safe, like weekend getaways. So my content is much more relatable, and it's more inspirational, and I focus mostly on, again, colors and composition.
I really like the feeling, like the vibe that you have, like the warm colors. It actually has a really good flow to it, especially how you incorporated the quotes.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of the same thing. Like I'm always incorporating orange. That's the color for very social. And I like to mix it up between, pictures of properties, kind of like Jessica. I like to have a lot of pictures of myself. Because I feel like I'm kind of like the brand. And
you're the brand, yeah.
It's either like talking about real estate or talking about social media. But I like how Marianne kind of like mixes it up a little bit with like, the quotes, the pictures of New York City. Den looks like it's a lot of pictures of him too. Den, like, what is your thought process, putting together your grid?
Well, it is certainly morphed over the years, and that's one of my big advice I would say to pass along, is to allow yourself to be flexible and to go with the flow. Your metrics are going to be your best friends. I started to see that I had young men 18 to 32 was a huge part of my following. I saw for women as well. And so I at one point had a lot going on in my feed, so I had to narrow my focus. But even when I do incorporate something that maybe not be completely on brand to what I'm typically going to post, I make sure that it's very polished. I'm just very much about, as a stylist or whatnot, and I think we all fit that category today. It is a polished, finished look. The videos are luxe, it's done well. And just to your point, even when Ryan asked me to do this project, an opportunity to get on a beautifully filmed presentation, creating some new content that's diverse, it was a no-brainer for me to do. So polished is definitely the key stone of my feed.
So I'm looking at your content creation ideas. Does purple and pink go together? I really like that combo. I didn't even know about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They work together. They're in that same wheelhouse, that color wheel. So I like to keep it vibrant and fun. And then I kind of started to make a name for myself about putting looks together and wearing them at different times of day. You know, when I was doing a lot of GMA stuff in the morning, I was putting women in what would typically be an evening dress, but it's like, I'm just trying to like get outside of the box a little bit. So I guess the point is to have some fun with it and keep it spontaneous.
Yeah. I feel like the visuals, like Instagram is all about visuals, and just having like the pink, border with the purple, having colors with like pictures of you, I think is so important. I mean, that's what Very Social does. Like I'm not techie at all, but I know all about marketing, and I feel like when you're building a brand, and that's what we're all doing on social media, especially with Instagram when it's so visual, having a color that really like represents you is super important.
I agree that has such a great impact. Also, I'm going to throw in the quotes. I think is fantastic, because I'm usually sharing a lot of inspirational quotes that in my stories that intrigue me. So that's a great way to fill up a couple days without having to take new photos, to inspire people and to get shared.
Great, awesome. Jessica, what goes into your content creation? I know you said a lot of it's like just in the moment. But how are you actually like thinking like, all right, I need to, create content for this, like for this fashion product or this, hotel or wherever you're going? Like how does your content creation process work?
Yeah, so like I said, I do a lot of in the moment things, but of course there are brands that I work with as well. So I need to be in the moment, but also plan okay, I'm working with this one fashion company, this one beauty product. I need to incorporate that. So I usually work with a photographer and we shoot that, and I sprinkle it in within all my improvised photos when I go ahead and post.
Awesome. And what about you, Marianne?
So again, these 3 photos are perfect as they have the same color tone or similar color tones. So I kind of break it down to 3 categories. One is definitely something related to New York, because again, that is my stomping grounds, my DNA. And then again, as I mentioned recently, I've been incorporating more quotes. And just like what Dennis said, it's a good transition phase if I'm trying to change the colors, if I'm trying to like incorporate a different aesthetic coming in. And then the third one, that was basically from a hotel collaboration that I did. Also really natural, really seems like not too planned out, if that makes sense. I like to also be, again, relatable. So those are my 3 verticals. It's something about New York City, something about, wellness, tips on how to live your best life, and then something that is travel related.
Great. I think it's important to really have those like pillars of content, like different content creation ideas. Like for me, I'm all about New York City. I'm a realtor. I own a social media agency. I'm a dad. I love good restaurants. And I guess I'm doing a little bit of, I'm traveling. So I'm just creating content, like, being in a hotel, going to dinners. So I think it's all important to kind of like have our pillars, and then really like, think about how we could, create this content. So you guys are influencers. You guys are getting paid to like work with brands. Like, Den, how does that process work?
It varies. Most often it's I will get an email, or sometimes it even happens in DM, and then we try to get to email as quickly as possible with brands that are offering to work with me. In addition to, there's some social media agencies out there. Socially, obviously, is another one that I have signed up in their database. And then also I have inquired in certain cases with brands and pitched myself to work with them. So it varies.
Great. Jessica, what about you? How are you building these relationships with brands?
Sure. So yeah, like Dennis said, it's a lot of DMs that turn into emails, or companies that email me directly wanting to work with me. and we negotiate rates and figure out what makes sense for both of us. And believe it or not, a lot has been happening to me one-to-one contact with people too. I meet people who have a brand and they want to partner with me, and then we end up working together too. So it's those three ways where I start conversations that lead to content creation.
So you're networking on social media?
Oh, 100%, all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
I think as realtors, we really undervalue how important a conversation is on social media. It's the easiest way to start a conversation. If you're scrolling through, one of your friends or family or past clients' Instagram stories, and you see something that catches your attention, just send them like a thumbs up or make a comment. I'm having 200 to 300 conversations per month with different people. So it's just a great way to connect, to start a conversation, and really, just keep top of mind with your sphere of influence.
And like don't be shy about it. Like definitely DM. Like I think a lot of people are scared to DM a person. Just DM. Like it doesn't hurt to DM a person. It really doesn't. There are some people who have DM me and I have conversations with them enough that we become friends, enough that we become business partners. So definitely send a DM. Don't shy away from it. Just because this person has like, over a certain amount of followers, don't get scared or shy, because, we're here to talk. We're here to network. That's social media networking. Like it's all about networking. So
Totally.
I really advise people to be open-minded with talking, because we're here to talk. So we do.
All right. Well, I have a question here for you guys. How often do you guys post? We'll start with you, Marianne.
So stories, I try to post daily because it's like the best way to have that engagement and like showcasing my lifestyle with my followers. And my magic number is 7 to 8 stories a day for frame wise.
Wow.
Yeah, because you don't want to have like two.
A lot of content.
Away.
Damn.
And if you
Step
have
it up.
more, those little dots, that's like very off-putting. So that's just my personal magic number. In terms of posts, I used to do every single day, but as we know, the algorithm has been, just crazy right now. So I want to give my content enough time to shine, if I'm creating it. So I actually post maybe like 4 times a week nowadays, and it's been great for me.
Great. Den, what about you?
It varies. I don't have a set amount that I will post. Sometimes if it's super content heavy and I get busy with some great projects, I will ramp it up. What I've really been mindful of lately that I feel like, speaking of the algorithm, that it really rewards you is using all of the features on the app. Like Reels, for instance, that's their Instagram's rebuttal to TikTok. When you use a Reel, you significantly up your chances of getting on that Discover page. It's happened to me gazillions of times. So I would say, and you don't have to be intimidated, I have to make this long, drawn out story reel. Even if you found this great apartment, you get a couple great shots, you put some music, tell you the location, you put that in as a reel. You can even take it off of your main page. So if that doesn't mess with your aesthetic, but using that, doing an IGTV here and there, the stories I like Marianne said, I like to keep them active. That has kept it healthy. I just try to keep all of them, all those balls in the air, so to speak, and that's been helping.
Yeah, just real quick. I think that's really important what Den just said. You want to keep this grid nice and clean. And sometimes when you're doing these reels, like I feel like we're kind of like forced into doing reels right now because you want to be able to use all of Instagram's features, but they don't look good on your grid. You want to have a really good thumbnail for your reels, but sometimes they don't look good. But like, even like you see on Den's like bottom one, that's a IGTV, but there's really not that many reels. So you could actually remove them from your grid and they're still alive. So I think that's really important because again, like when you're posting, I think it all goes back to the grid. And just real quick, I want you to kind of like go over your, we got a question about like how you pick your color, like your kind of feature color. Jessica, why don't we start with you? Do you have a certain color that you kind of like to go with, and how did you pick that color? And
absolutely. So if you were to walk through my closet, you would see a lot of whites, pinks, and blues. Like that's literally all that's in my closet. I go for very neutral color palette. it's just what resonates with me. It's what I like, and it's what I tend to post most on Instagram, and I carry it throughout.
And what about you, Dan?
I'm again, like the purples, the pinks, all vibrant. I tend to go on the saturated colors. So I'm not married to any 2 or 3, but it definitely has to just be a vibrant and a big pop. But my business is a kind of a hot fuchsia pink. The lettering is my logo.
All right, great. Since I have you, let's talk about Instagram stories.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've been spending so much time on the grid, but the stories, that's where you're doing your networking. That's where someone's going to send you a DM. You know, how do you go about your stories? You know, how frequently are you posting, and how, like, how strategic are you about it? Like, are you, because it looks like these are all like well designed. So like, what's the kind of timing and effort that you're putting into your Instagram stories?
Sure, thank you. Well, again, anything I post just has to meet my standards of just being aesthetically pleasing. So whatever that is to you, it's just that I'm just not a fan of sloppy stuff and I don't want to take away from being an authentic. It's still me, and I know, you still want to show yourself and not this, flawless version of yourself, but it still just needs to look a certain way. And then I love to go out to dinner, so I like to incorporate that. I like to show that I'm kind of a multifaceted person, I'd like to think. So I'm always sharing just different parts of my life. I love putting a song to something, but one thing to be mindful of is if you put a song to it, it can make it unshareable to other brands or to other people. So not to say don't use music, but just one of those little rules that has kind of held me back in a couple instances with brands. But if you see here, a little bit of my work stuff, this is for people that are really invested in you. They like that initial tease you've given them. And so I like to keep it just, a nice variety.
I'm like right there with you, is that I want this, like, I think my brand is so important to me, and I'm really putting a lot of time and effort building it through Instagram and social media. So I want it to look good. Like, my posts are curated. Like, I just don't like to put sloppy stuff out there. I want my logo on everything. I want it to be well designed. So, I'm right there with you. So I like the vibe that you have. Jess, what about you? How do you go about your Instagram stories?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between what I post and what I do on my Insta stories. I think Insta stories, I like to showcase my personality a little bit more, right? Whether it's me hanging out, going to the gym with my girlfriend and dancing to a song that we like, or going to have a meal. And like, I like to show more of me as a person. I think my posts are more curated and tailored and perfection. And like, I like to showcase it to the best way possible. But I like stories in the aspect that you get to see that I'm a real person. Still in a tasteful, beautiful way, but like, you get to see me laugh. You get to see me not so serious as what my posts might resonate as.
I have a question for you. How do you classify personal and business related posts? Like, how do you go about them differently? And how do you plan content, like, based on like something like personal, like you out having dinner with friends, to maybe like a brand partnership?
I mean, obviously a brand is more professional, right? The way you treat it is much more professional versus not. Sorry, what's your question again?
How do you go about creating content for business and personal? Like, what's the difference? Like, what's your mind, your thought process, the effort?
Okay. Yeah. So, when I work with a brand, I know that that's the number one most important thing that I need to highlight in the image. Because that's what the company is paying for me to highlight it in the best way that I possibly can. Versus if I'm just posting a cool outfit that I got, I could, kind of capture it in whatever way I want. Whereas if it's with a brand, I know that I need to show them in the best light possible. So those are the two different.
Okay, great. All right, Marian, how do you go about your Instagram stories?
I have a really strong personality that I love to showcase on stories. So that's why I'm laughing at the first slide, because I'm over here just ranting about the universe and manifestation, and that's just who I am. And then the second one, showcasing an outfit that I posted on my feed to kind of showcase, if you want to shop this outfit, you can do that. I know Jessica had a similar.
How did you create that design?
I think it was either in Unum or Canva, one of the editing apps, but I think it was Unum. It was like really, really easy. So I just like plugged it in and then just push shop now and then the swipe up. And then the last one, again, just my lifestyle. I really love cooking. I'm all into health. So I'm like, let me show you what I'm eating tonight. And it's just something that's just, I wouldn't really post that, on my feed, but I'm a real person, behind my brand. So I love showcasing just like everyday lifestyle in my stories.
So I feel like these are three totally different types of content. You talking in the camera, a fashion kind of post, and then food. How do your followers, how do they react to like the three different styles? Like, do you have certain ones that like really like, you talking, or, really more into your food?
I think the thing you have to remember is that everybody who follows you will not all view your stories. So the people who view your stories are people who are like your ride or die, right? They always just want to know what you're up to. So I don't really have people, DMing me saying like, I don't like when you talk, or like, please don't show me what you're eating. I feel like they know that my stories is kind of like a, no filter, a great way to get to know me just for me. And it's kind of a free for all, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm just going to show this, I'm going to show that. And my whole thing is that it's the lifestyle. So, yeah, I don't think I have a problem with choosing what to post on stories.
Awesome. Yeah, no,
How about you, Ryan?
Me, a lot of it's strategic. Like I like to do this or that and have polls, which I think are really great. I could swipe up and see who's engaging with my polls. Big foodie. So I always like whenever I do food pictures, I think people can kind of know who's like kind of like working on my content and who's not. I mean, obviously I own an agency. So like, I'm not really doing most of this stuff, but it's all coming from me. It's all my lead. Like when I'm working with clients, I'm like, yeah, we have a team of technical copywriters and graphic designers and social media coordinators. Like I honestly can't do that stuff, but I'm a marketer and I know my voice. So I kind of give them direction and then they put it out there for me. And like even with like the market reports, like, my team, they don't know anything really about the market reports, but they know how to make the market reports look good. So it's a lot of it strategic. A lot of it I'm putting out there, like kind of like in a weekly on advance for the stories. And I like Marianne, I can't get on camera and just talk. Like, I just feel like that's just not my brand. I won't do that. Like the only type of video that I'm really going to post is something that's like a real professional video. I just can't go raw on a video at this point. I just don't feel comfortable for that. And also, like, no offense, I think it's like when I'm looking at other people's content, I don't really like to like see people talk. Like I'm kind of just like scrolling through anyways, so it's like I kind of know what I see people like. I like what other people are doing, and I kind of try to do the same thing. Like if I don't like people talking on camera, then I'm not going to do that. That's just not my vibe. Like you're great at that. You're inspirational. But it's just not my style. I think we all have our own styles and we put a lot of time and effort and people appreciate that. Engaging with your audience and growing followers. Jessica, I think you're the big dog here. You have the most followers out of all. Wait, actually, Marianne, how many followers do you have?
No, she has more than me.
Oh, I like how we're judging each other.
Oh my
she
God,
has more than
should
me.
I Google? I need to check. I don't even know how much I got.
So Jess, how
I came prepared.
How do you get
I'm
to that
literally
level?
like looking
like and even that, how many followers do you have now?
I'm literally Googling for you guys because I'm not sure.
Oh, stop it. We all know how many followers we have.
No, like I don't check all the time. I have 195,000 followers. You know what? Like I used to care so much about the number count I had, but we all get in our head to focus so much on the number that like I don't check as much as I did when I was starting out, if that makes sense. Because I focus more on creating the beautiful content and the beautiful vibe and aesthetic now more than I do on did I go up in 500? Did I go down in 575? Like it could drive one crazy. So I try not to focus on that. Like my job as a content creator, I want to produce the most highest of quality work. And if that means I'm going to drop a little bit, like, so have you. But I really try not to focus so much on numbers. Quality over quantity, you guys.
Wow. Does anybody here want to focus? Does anyone focus on numbers besides me?
No, I focus on numbers. Don't get me wrong. But like, if I go down a bit, if I go up a bit, fine. But I'm not going to like, beat myself over the bush over it.
Dennis, Marian, anybody, do you have a strategy when it comes to growing? Like, do you care about your numbers?
I concur with Jessica. I've had kind of the same journey. I used to be psycho obsessed about it. And then it was the moment I kind of let that go and focused in on the content, as cliche as that can sound, that kind of started to take care of itself. But with that being said, I'm really kind of a nerd about what posts do well and at what time. I'm really a metrics guy, and I've had to force myself to be that way. So I will plan it out and be very strategic. But it's like listening to a good review, believing the good review or the bad one. I'm not going to be defined by a couple hundred more people that have left me or joined me.
Yeah. What about you, Marian?
No, 100%. I'm echoing both of what they said. I think maybe like 3 years ago, 100%, I was definitely, focusing on the number of followers, but also there is such a huge shift right now in, the micro influencers and how much power they have. And I feel like people actually are a little turned off if you have too big of a following, which is, I know, weird to say. So I think it all depends on also the brands, right? Like what they are looking for, who they want to work with. The beauty is that we all have our own, unique perspective, our own superpower. And I think the industry is so big and it's growing because there is enough pie to go around, as I like to say. So yeah, I don't really focus on the numbers. I think my content and what I'm putting out there is what's going to attract my potential future clients.
Yeah, and what I also want to mention, so, because also like most of us are focused on creating the most beautiful content, now that I've shifted that focus on creating the best content I possibly can, there's been more like sponsorship opportunities coming my way because I've shifted less focusing on the numbers and more on producing the better content. And with that being said, I'm getting a growth in sponsorship, partnership opportunities with brands because they see that. They see that you're putting more work into creating beautiful quality work. So hence why there's more interest into your account.
So let's I think our audience are real estate agents that don't have as many followers as you, and like they're they have 300, they have 2,000 followers. Like they want to have an audience. They want to be able to list an apartment and get that kind of exposure. Do you guys have any advice for somebody who's starting out on social media that wants to grow their followers? Wait, Jess, you didn't start with 200,000 followers, did you?
No, I didn't. Of course not. I started with one. How did I grow? I engaged with people who didn't follow me. I really just started conversations with people who I didn't know. And, we started following each other. I think that really helped me. I started liking accounts who haven't seen my account. That really helped me. So I think what I would advise like any broker is to engage with people. Okay, so if you're a broker in New York City, for example, what you should be doing is liking hashtag New York City. Like if somebody in the location has New York, like pictures within that space because those people are within New York. They like New York. They might be looking for an apartment in New York. So I think you just need to engage with people to grow a following as a broker.
Wait, hold on. I got a quick question here. It's kind of a good question.
What is it?
Marianne, this one's for you. How do you come up with your captions? How do you catch your followers through words?
Yeah, I mean, I think I am lucky in the sense that I consider myself to be a writer. Like I have a blog. So
I wish.
coming up with captions is more of like a strength of mine. I love to do more long form captions just because, in my opinion, when people are reading and they're actually on your page, the more time they spend on it, the better it works again with the Instagram's algorithm. And I mean, I don't do this for every single post because otherwise people would just be like really overwhelmed. But I love showcasing like tips. If I'm talking about, I just posted a photo recently like in Dumbo, and I was writing about like Dumbo facts. People probably don't know like what, you know, what's so significant about it. And then, or again, talking about wellness, I talk about, you know, like tips to increase your mental health. And then if I don't want to, you know, be too deep, I would just, you know, talk regularly about the weather in New York and how spring is coming up and how I'm so excited. And then I always sometimes do a call to action, like comment below what's your favorite season, or like comment this, like what do you think about this? Because questions are such a great way to engage your followers into commenting the post. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I think we're about done here, but I want to go back. I want to go back to the videos that we did together. Now I had some technical difficulties on the last one, so I'm hoping this works here. Let's see. Let's see. So get this one. Could you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
You can see it. All right. This is Jessica.
Jessica,
Oh my God, hi.
I was just thinking of you.
Oh yeah?
I found the perfect.
We don't see it. I don't see it.
Where is it?
You don't see it?
right there.
I see it, but I think you have to like
You do it.
open.
So this is the space.
Wow, wow, and wow.
Is it there?
Yeah, it is.
And
Mhm,
this
yeah.
living room is so comfy. Have a seat. Let's have a seat on the couch.
I feel home. This feels homey.
Very comfortable.
This feels really homey.
Yes. From this space, you can see the whole entire apartment. The high ceilings make it just feel enormous. You have the double exposure facing east and north, and you even have that slither of Madison Square Park. And check out this bedroom.
Wow. This is beautiful. I love all the natural light this place gives. Ah, it's so perfect. I love it. I really, really do.
Awesome. So I think we had, I don't know, we had a ton of views on this video. But most importantly, Jessica, what did you get me?
What did I what?
Who did you hook me up with?
Okay, so speaking about the video content Ryan, we created, I got people interested in working with you, right? So I think like just capturing video content as a broker, and whether it's with an influencer or not, number one, it's great to showcase an apartment, capturing it in video. Number one. Number two, when you work with an influencer, and I posted, which I did, we got like 3 people interested, Ryan, just because I posted, and they got to see your account. So it just goes to show that, you know, using social media for a broker is so important because we got interest. We got
Jessica,
interest because I
got
posted.
me a pitch with somebody that's selling 3 townhouses for $10 million.
Correct.
So, you know, they reached out to us because they
Money.
saw this video. I didn't get the listing, but he didn't, you know, it's still in play when he's ready to list for the right price. And then we also got another investor. So, you know, I felt like, you know, just working with you, collaborating with you, using your audience, because it helped me grow my followers. I got a bunch of DMs. And I think that's like what you guys are getting paid for, is because you guys put the time and effort to create that really engaging content, like coming up with the hashtags or the one-liners that people really like, you know. And I think aligning yourself with brands and with real estate agents really helps, you know, get eyeballs on properties, on growing your followers. So Marianne, you were the first one I ever did this.
I
one
know,
of these
I see
videos.
their faces and I feel like it's much fancier.
This was we're a little bit old school. This was almost 2 years ago. This was definitely pre-pandemic. And I think what was good about this is I had this amazing apartment on the market and I had an offer. And then I did this video with Marianne and I scared the buyer because they know whenever I do videos that I get all this exposure. And I scared the buyer and they came up to what the seller wanted, because I said, I'm going to promote this video. It's going to go viral. So like this video, like I use this video as leverage to negotiate a deal for my seller. Let's see if it works. It's old school. All right, come on. Mary, well, regardless, it was definitely a great story, and you definitely helped me make a deal. I really appreciate it. So that is the power of influencers. You guys do a great job. I really respect what you do. I'm trying to be an influencer myself in some way or another, but I think all of us like really want to have that exposure on Instagram because like look at Ryan Serhan, look at Frederick Eklund, like people want to list their properties with them because they get millions of people looking at their real estate. And I think like with real estate, there's new real estate. There's new marketing and old marketing. And old marketing is like putting your listing on like Zillow and MLS, but new marketing is kind of going above and beyond, creating really engaging videos that tell a story and then pushing it out through social media channels. And I think we're all telling our story in some way or another. And I think whenever homes are sold, they always have a story to tell. So thank you guys for helping me tell that story and for sharing all your wisdom on being an influencer, because it's a lot of work and you guys kill it and you do a really good job. And I hats off to you because I have a ton of respect for you. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Ryan.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.